Just watched this video of this woman. She was in Florida, and she was just talking about how she believes. You by listening to the video, you could tell it's true that some people are going to try to traffic her and her friend. I'll see once again, as I always say, if I can copy the video and post it here. But she was basically saying whoever she was with, some other people she don't know, some females I believe it was trying to get them to drink, and she didn't, and she said, which was a surprise for her because she's always drinking, and she gave advice. You don't have you out with your friend. Both of you should not be drunk. Well, I don't drink at all, so God says that's not too much of a wise thing, right? So, and then some other things. When she and the girl decided to leave because they felt like something was up, and she knows a woman was by a car, I think by her car, and woman was like, could you take a picture of me? But something in her head, which is God, was like, nah, tell her no. And she was like, there was a bunch of cops around, but even that, it didn't seem to matter. If someone wants to act a fool, they were just going to try. And then she immediately gets in the car with her friend, and of course, she locks the door immediately, like most of us do. The immediate thing is you lock your door before you go in the car. And then she talks about how these out of nowhere, this car came out of nowhere and stopped right in front of the back of her car, and two men came out and they tried to talk to them with the door locked, and then they tried to open up her door and she was able to speed off. Anyway, so it just made me think about something because, like I said, I always pray. And I'm not into Uber and Lyft and that stuff like that. But, I have to take it sometimes, especially lately. I've been taking a lot lately with my son in Connecticut, my youngest. So we get in the Lyft this day because we're doing it twice a day on Wednesdays. We get in this car, this man, and then he's cool. He starts talking immediately, which is cool. And then he had on the Christian radio station I listen to all the time. I'm like, okay, cool. This is even better. Cool driver. Then he immediately offers me and my son a bottle of water. I said no. My son said no. I said no because not only do I have a bottle of water, I don't tend to take, I just never interested in that, And then, we're having good conversations about cars and stuff like that. Um, and we really didn't talk about Christianity. We didn't. We didn't. I just was like, I'm so happy to hear that music. And then he drops us off, and he immediately turns around and looks at me. And he's like, "If y'all need another drive." The way he said that, you could tell that like he's desperate, like he needs extra money. And I was like, "Nah, we don't." And I felt like. I think I felt like a little check, or at least if it wasn't a check from God, I was hesitant because what happens is that because I don't feel like driving to Connecticut. Connecticut's like 2 hours away, so we just been taking the Amtrak. So while I'm dropping him off at his homeschool co-op situation where he's with a bunch of other kids learning and stuff like that. I go up the road, which is only like a 10, 15 minute max walk to this college that is right there, and I go chill out there for a number of hours while he's in class. And so what I've done the last time, the cab driver that I had previously the week before dropped off my son, I was like, "Can I give you an extra five and you just take me up the road? Because it's 2 minutes, it's just a 2 minutes ride." He's like, "No problem." But that guy felt comfortable. So with this guy, in my head, I kept saying, maybe I'll ask him too. But you know what? I just didn't feel like this go ahead to do that. And so even when he asked, if y'all ever need another ride, like one part of me said, "Ooh, maybe that was God trying to say, yeah, you should ask him just because you've been thinking, should you ask this cab driver to, this do the second stop?" But then I just did not feel that go ahead. And so as we come out of the car, my son already got out, and I said to the man, keep believing in God. And his response is this: "Look, I love you." It's not even funny, right? So one part of me is saying, is that the Christian lingo? Like a lot of us, I know I do a lot. I'll be like, "I love you," not to strangers though, but it could just be people, not even your friends. It's just we throw that word out, but that's not the appropriate response he should be saying to me when I don't know you. and you just dropping us off. And for me to say, keep believing in God. So there's a part of me that wanted to say, oh, maybe he was just throwing it out. He didn't know what else to say. Maybe he new in Christianity. He thinks that's the right response. I ain't got much else to say about that, right? But there was something else in his eyes. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking, overthinking it. I don't know. But you always got to go by that check in your spirit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I know God's always going to cover me and my family. Um, in addition, I think we all know wisdom is very important because God says wisdom, get wisdom, it's important. So I was watching this video on how people can survive in a car with a crazy person. Grab that seatbelt that's around their neck and choke them. That's right. I'm there. I'm just one of those people. I'm like, protect yourself. Take that seatbelt and just that's around that drive that person there. That's what people who unfortunately have been kidnapped need to do. They need to know this stuff. That's if that person has on that seatbelt, grab it till they choke. That's right. Do what you gotta do. I just want to tell you guys my story. And then the water thing, then after a while, I was thinking with that bottled water, like I said, sometimes I overthink. I'm one of those people that I'll be thinking. I'll be thinking. Like, that's why I'm so dramatic. I was like, shoot. After a while, I was like, what could have been in that water? Maybe it could have been just a plain old bottle of water. Could have been. But still, I don't know you. Don't take any water from anybody. I don't care if it's in a bottle. Don't take it. So, yeah. Life. Peace.